Howdy everybody, and welcome back to the mobile RPG tutorial. And remember, we are working in concert with Heartbeast, and it's part of his sponsorship for his 1-bit Go course. 29 hours to go, and 13,829. It tricked us by going up to 13,000 and back and back up. Alright, so just real quick, a reminder here. If you haven't, you need to go over to the mobile RPG tutorial resources and re-download it, because there is a new PNG here, new image for a slime enemy, which we will be using later on. So let's add that into here. Oh wait, yeah, you gotta take it to the desktop first. Then there we go. Give it that name, sprite underscore. And I like to make sure that, well, sprite slime, since we only have two of them for now, but sometimes I like to give them conventions like sprite underscore enemy underscore rat underscore slime. That way it's easier to keep track of them. So there we go, top center, and close that up. Anyways, let's get cracking on this tutorial today. We are going to be adding a few new animations and some functionality to our buttons. So let's start off by opening up our parents, pop out our parent button. We're going to need that for updating how our buttons work. And we are also going to want to open up our buttons and grab the heal and attack buttons, because we're going to update how these guys work a little bit too. For our heal button, give it a user event 0 so that we can add some code into it, just like with the attack button. And coming over here to our parent button, let me pull up my reference code here. Buttons, parents, parent button, and step. So you may notice that in the attack button we have a lot of different exit things going on here, where we wouldn't want to use the button, but we're going to move these over to the parent button so that we do not do a hover check if any of these actually ends up being happening. So let's start off with this. We are going to turn these from ifs into variables. So we want to say variable underscore enemy underscore exists. So instead, say that. So now we have a variable that will be true if parent enemy exists. And we also have this one here. So let's say var underscore turn, or you can give it my underscore turn if you want to be more exact. And say it's equal to global turn is equal to turn dot player. So now we have my turn is equal to true when it is the player's turn. So we don't use the buttons when we are not on our turn. And just to add a little bit extra spice to this, we say one of the other things we want to do, actually, var underscore animation 1 is equal to underscore enemy, and parent underscore enemy dot shake underscore timer underscore is equal to -1. So in this case, we have we are checking to make sure that the enemy actually exists first. Then if the enemy exists, it checks to see if the shake timer is equal to -1. And if both of those are true, then this will be true. Let's see another one. Var underscore AP is equal to object underscore stats dot AP underscore greater than or equal to AP underscore required. Var underscore MP is equal to object underscore stats dot MP underscore required. So we have to make sure that we have enough AP and MP to perform an action before we can actually click on that button. And var underscore position, and this one is going to be a new thing that we're going to do with the buttons here. It's equal to x start, and y is equal to y start. Delete that for the moment. Alright, great. So let's come down over here. We have AP required and MP required. Let's go to our create MP underscore required underscore by default. Everything requires at least one MP to actually perform an action. And we now have a bunch of exits. So whenever we actually, let me zoom that in. Make sure that you can see a little bit better. Whenever we need to use a button, well, we'll use these actually here in a second here. Here we go. So currently we are doing this right here. So we just move that over to there. So our sprite index is now equal to idle sprite. Text color is equal to idle text color. We set those up before. Then, if not AP underscore or not underscore MP, text underscore color underscore is equal to inactive underscore text underscore color. Alright, that's the first little improvement to our buttons we're doing. We are giving it an inactive button color. Let's come up here. Inactive underscore text underscore color equal to C underscore red. Because we want it to be red when you can't use the button. And secondly, if underscore turn and underscore my turn and underscore enemy exists and underscore animation 2, well 1, and underscore AP, excuse me, and underscore MP and underscore position, then we can actually do a mouse check. So we want to check real quick to see, actually we're going to include all of this. Hover and mouse release. There we go. So we are checking to see if the mouse, well, if we meet all of our exit clauses, then we can check to see if we can click on a button. That way we can have our buttons draw as being red at the beginning of a turn or whenever if we have not enough AP or not enough MP or any of the other things that would make it so the button doesn't draw, so we can't click a button. Over back at the draw event, get rid of that because we're declaring that over in our macro script. Just make sure we got that and that. That's good. Yeah. Ignore that. Ignore that. So next up, we want to do an animation with our buttons. And on turn change. Actually, just call it turnover to match our turnover object. If global.turn is equal to turn.enemy. And this will be a fun little animation for our buttons. That'll make it so that they move around when when it's not our turn, and then they move back into position when it is our turn, instead of just mysteriously vanishing. So when it is the enemy's turn, we want to if is underscore odd. Is underscore odd is a new script, so make a new script, call it is underscore odd, and pop in the code. This is very simple code here. Tells if an integer is even or odd, and this is specifically for integers, just to make sure. And this is how it's working here. We have a value, so 0010, the bits of the integer, and we compare the bits of the integer to the bits of 1, which is only a 1 in the very last position. So with the bitwise AND operator, it tells us is 1 and 0 the same. If they are, then leave it as a 1 or a 0 if they're zeros. Else, just set it to 0. So anything that is 0 at the far end will be even, because you would have to have a 1 there to be odd, and it will end up being 0, 0, 0 at the end. So we can just return that 0. We can return that as a true or false, because it'll be 0 if it is true, or it'll be 1 if it is false, or 1 if it is true and 0 if it's, no wait, 0 if it is, it'll return a 0 if it is even, so it won't be odd. So it'll be return a 1, a true, if it is odd. And we're going to use this to detect our buttons right here and here. So we have our left column and our right column. So is odd, 0, it would be left. So if they're odd, they'd be on the right here. If they're even, they'll be on the left, because 0 is even. That's what we'll be using in a second here. And position underscore. So we have a new variable called position here. Actually, we'll give you no one as your value. And we need to figure out what our position is now. So to do that, come back to our macro script and set up a new global variable. Call it global.buttons. Is equal to ds underscore list underscore create. And we're going to use this list to hold the positions of our buttons as we create them. Oops, that's parent enemy. So we want to add me to button list when I'm created. ds underscore list underscore add global dot buttons. Add my ID to the global dot buttons list. Find my position. Position underscore is equal to ds underscore list underscore find underscore index global dot buttons ID. Actually, we can delete that guy. So what does this do? We add ourselves to the list. So if we're the third button created, we add in at position 2 in the list. Then we find that position by finding our index right here. So now we know we are position 2. And last but not least, reposition the buttons. And we're going to use another script for this, though it's not really super necessary to use a script for it, but we do. Call it reposition. Reposition buttons. Somehow I really messed up that spelling. So create another new script. Reposition underscore buttons. Description, reposition the buttons. And this is fairly simple again as well. We are going to use a single for loop here to determine the position of our buttons. For var I equals 0, while I is less than ds underscore list underscore size global dot buttons I plus plus with global dot buttons accessor I, so that means the button at position I. Then we want to give you a new X start position equal to 9 plus 40 times is underscore odd position underscore dot. A new Y start is equal to 73 plus 16 times position underscore div 2. X is equal to X start and Y is equal to Y start. There we go. So what did this do? Well, we just figured out a new X position for there we go. I always hate when I miss parentheses. So we figured out an X position and Y position based on so come here, this is 973, so that's why we have 9 and 73 right there, and 40 and 16 is how much of a difference in the X and Y position each of these buttons are. So is odd, if you're in the left column or the right column, then you will get an extra 40 pixels if you're in the right column, because odd numbered positions are in the right column. And if you are divisible by 2, you'll get an extra 16 as your Y, because we have 2 columns and then another row. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how it'll work out. Okay, so we got that in there. Come back to our parent button. Now we're repositioning our buttons. We can check if is odd And now we actually do some animation. So if they are in the odd position, then give them a var underscore target is equal to x start plus 100, and x is equal to approach x to underscore target. Oh, wasn't going purple yet. Underscore target minus x divided by 25 plus 0.1. And this is basically this almost kind of like the same code as what we're using for the turnover object. Else we'll just copy and paste this, except instead of trying to go to the right, we try to go to the left. And we turn that around to x minus underscore target. Come on, turn purple. I really hate when it does that. And why are you annoyed? Because I have an extra parenthesis there. That's why you're not turning purple. Alright. So if the turn is the enemy's turn, else var underscore target is equal to x start, and x is equal to approach x to underscore target by the ABS of x minus underscore target divided by 25 plus 0.5, because we want these to move in at a fairly good clip versus moving out where we want them to kind of slide much more smoothly, so that way the player can get back into their turn as fast as possible. So we got all this cool stuff going on with making the buttons move around. Let's check out, see how it works. AP underscore not set before. Oh, that'd be because as usual I forget to check what line did it say that was on. That's line 14. If not underscore, not AP underscore underscore AP. So as you can see, sword, 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 and everything moves out and slides back in. Very nice. Except the mock-up's still there. Also, we don't have to have these all in the exact positions anymore. They can just be put wherever, which is very useful because later on you might want to spawn new buttons as you get new items or something, so that the player can perform other actions. And now you don't have to worry about where you spawn them. You can just spawn them anywhere and they'll figure out where they're supposed to go automatically. Okay, so we've done a lot of stuff to get our buttons working and acting a lot more interesting. So let's actually make our heal button do something now. We're just going to copy this code from there, use AP. Don't need to bother making the turnover. Well, we do if we're at 0 still. So with object stats, use AP. In this case, AP underscore required underscore is equal to 1. Also MP underscore required underscore is equal to 6. So MP underscore is equal to max of 0 or MP underscore minus MP underscore required. Make sure you do that as other dot. And for AP, other dot AP underscore required underscore. This is nice because it makes us able to more fully control how much AP and MP is used at any time, allowing us to hopefully set up for buffs and stuff, which would allow you to have free attacks or gain more AP or not use any MP for that turn or something. Alright. And oh, I guess we should probably heal. HP underscore is equal to the minimum of either our max underscore HP or what is it? HP underscore plus other dot heal underscore amount. So let's give this variable heal underscore amount is equal to 5. Let's give it a try. So we can attack with the sword. Bang, bang, bang. Enemy's turn. Buttons disappear. Player's turn. We can attack. Heal. But now we're out of MP. So we can't heal anymore. But we can still sword. There we go. Doesn't that look really nice? Alright. Thank you everybody for sticking with me today. It sounds a little bit like I have a cold, I think, but I hope that everything will turn out well for me. So, hope everything turns out well for you as your code, and good luck with your programming.